All right, let's talk about additional tools to resolve conflict. Now, it is imperative that both partners accept the influence of the other. Typically, in relationships, there is a top and a bottom, and the top has ultimate veto power. Now, relationships are most effective when each party, though, has equal veto power with most issues. So, further, Dr. Gottman found that in the happiest of marriages, men accepted the influence of their partners. So examples of the influence would include a belief that you can learn from your partner, or not rejecting what their opinions are, and believing that they can also come up with good solutions. Now, partners that make effective repairs have functional and successful relationships. What this means is that with functional parties, they resolve problems or arguments during the argument or even before the argument's over. So when couples resolve each argument, problems are resolved at that time and they do not become additive and then resurface during future arguments. So further, having a partner who has the ability to say they're sorry is crucial. So being able to say you're sorry or you're wrong takes courage and trust, and it is so helpful in reducing conflict and having a loving relationship. Now, creating an atmosphere where one can break the negativity is also helpful. One can use humor or offer their partner a cup of coffee or tea after an argument. So you ask the partner, you can ask your partner for a hug, right? Or you make light of the argument without invalidating the other. And certainly make-up intimacy also helps. So it makes peace and reconnects the partners. So moreover, having a sense that your partner will accept your efforts to improve the situation and vice versa is paramount. Also, when managing conflict, making compromises is key. So to building trust and commitment and ensuring safety. Having a sense that your partner will give way on things if there is a disagreement ensures safety. So you don't want black or white thinking, such as, I'm right, so you must be wrong. Okay, this is dangerous. Couples must be able to give and take in an argument, okay, and share power. So also couples need to be able to fight with the end in mind. So what does that mean? So what should the end in mind consist of? Well, the end in mind should focus on resolving the issue and simultaneously, this is what's important, making sure that your partner feels good during and after the conflict. I mean, that's the end in mind. Both partners must control their stubbornness. You want your partner to feel good after the argument. That's what's important. So couples should practice calming techniques also, meaning they should pay attention to their heart rates. When we have a heart rate above 90 to 95 beats per minute, we are emotionally charged or flooded and have difficulty being rational in our arguments. And in this state of fight or flight or freeze, so we're flooded. And when this happens, we need to pause. We need to take a time out, a 20 to 30 minute break from an argument, and then resume discussing the issue in order to resolve the conflict once we're calmer. So just as we should not spank our children when we're angry or emotional, we should not argue or discuss important matters with the person whom we love when we're angry or in that state of fight or flight. Or we will inevitably say or do something that we regret. So most importantly, if you need a break from an argument, you want to take a break, right? But you've got to resolve the issue immediately following your break. Watch for signs of flooding. So here are some of the signs. Feeling overwhelmed, not being able to stay calm during an argument, wanting to run away, wanting to distance yourself, or when small issues become big ones. So if you are flooded, again, take a break. So finally, I've illustrated some safe talking techniques that have been adapted from Markman and Stanley in fighting for your marriage. So these are great techniques. So these techniques enable each partner to speak without interruption. So the first one is you use a jointly valued item such as a talking tool. So for example, you could use your wedding ring or a photo of the family or a talking stick, something like that. Something important for the couple. Number 2, each person takes turn to hold the item, and the person who is holding the item has the floor. Number 3, the person listening then repeats back what the talking person has said and checks back to make sure what they've heard is correct. Number 4, the other person then takes hold of the talking item and speaks while their partner summarizes what they say. So now, the Gottmans also have developed a 5-step tool to discuss an issue or major problem that needs to be resolved. Now remember again, the goal is to gain a greater understanding of where your partner is coming from. This goes back to love maps, remember that? Rather than about winning the argument. So when I work with couples, I want them both to feel like they have been heard and understood and are accepted for their position. So often achieving just this de-escalates the situation and the couple finds resolution. So couples that get along and don't have conflict easily agree to disagree. Couples who have high conflict are threatened by disagreement, threatened just by disagreement. So in using the 5 steps below, couples should work through each step together. All right. The first one is feelings. So you share how you felt about the situation. Do not say why you felt that way. Avoid commenting on your partner's feelings. Stay in your lane, okay? But just talk about the feelings. Number 2, realities. So describe your reality. Take turns, summarize, validate at least a part of your partner's reality. So you're going back and forth, and remember that their reality should not be a threat to you. During conflict, we have selective attention, and therefore partners remember the same situation differently. Number 3, triggers. You want to share the experiences or what experiences you have or memories that are triggered by what may have escalated within the interaction. And you share stories of why these triggers are important to you or why they're triggers for you. You own your own trigger. You don't blame or criticize or minimize your partner's triggers. Okay, or blame them for why they're triggering you. The 4th thing is you take responsibility. You acknowledge your own role in contributing to the fight or the incident. This is the opposite of defensiveness. When we take a little responsibility, this is de-escalating for our partner and should be for us too. Number 5, constructive plans. You plan together one way that each of you can make it better the next time. So now that you both have a better appreciation of where your partner's coming from. So there's like an after-action report. You both have heard each other and you've taken some responsibility for this regrettable incident, and you're better able to find a resolution with your partner. So this is like I want you to think of managing conflict as like a muscle to manage conflict. It takes so much work. So the problem is often couples do not seek help until they are now having years of trouble managing conflict, and they've conditioned each other to have these triggers and these responses. So if we're having trouble managing conflict, we've got to nip it in the bud very early in the relationship. We got to make sure that we are learning healthy habits from the beginning so we don't get into trouble. Remember, it's never too late to start over wherever you are in your relationship or your marriage.